Ontario Premier Doug Ford is talking real tough, but can he deliver, and is he going too far? Welcome to my channel, y'all. I hope you're having a great day. Well, earlier today, Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, gave a press conference at a mining convention in Ontario. And of course, the topics of tariffs came up. Now, I obviously don't agree with the tariffs that Trump is threatening, but I do think that sometimes the Canadian response has been a little bit over the top. Let's go to the press conference and then we'll talk about just what I mean.
I don't want to start the tariff war. We want to win the tariff war. But let's see what President Trump says. He changes his mind every single day.
I just want to jump in here and put in a bit of a comment. Trump has been very clear. The tariffs that are coming on March the 4th, so tomorrow or later today, I guess, when you're seeing this, those have always been about securing the border and stemming the flow of drugs and people into the United States from both Canada and Mexico. He's not changed his mind about that. I know that there's all sorts of people commenting about that, he's not being consistent and he's changing his mind. He's not changing his mind about that. Yes, he put them off for a month and maybe he'll put them off even further. But these are not economic tariffs. These are sanctions against Canada and Mexico. Are they justified? I don't think so. But we need to focus on working with the United States, not working against them. We need to satisfy Trump that we're doing as much as we can to strengthen our border. And that's not just for him. That's for Canada. That's something we should have been doing all along, regardless. Let's go back to the press conference and listen to a little bit more of what Doug has to say.
But let me be very clear. I talked to more Americans than pretty well anyone in Canada. I talked to governors, senators, congresspeople. Not one single American said it's a great idea to attack our closest friends and cherished allies. Not one governor, not one senator, not one congressperson, Republican or Democrat, say it's a great idea to attack your largest customer. Who attacks their largest customer? And they're our largest customer. It doesn't make sense. Yes, will it hurt us? Definitely it'll hurt us. Will it hurt the Americans? It will definitely hurt the Americans. A tariff on Canada is a tax on Americans. And I'm going to repeat that on NBC, CNN, Fox News, CNBC. I'm going to be hammering the airwaves to get that message to the Americans. They're going to get hurt. It's the wrong decision.
Now, I agree with Big Dougie Ford here. These tariffs are a bad idea and they will hurt Americans just as much as they'll hurt Canadians. Actually, maybe even more. I don't know. It's still yet to be seen. But you want to consider this one thing is I always hear him complaining about the tariffs and what Ontario will do in response to the tariffs. Now, I live out west, so I'm probably missing a lot of the local media on this. But I do know that other provinces are actually working with the Canadian government to secure the border even more, to assist the Canadian government in securing the border. I know Danielle Smith is doing that. I think I've heard somewhere that even Quebec is doing that. I would like to hear what Doug is doing, what big old Dougie Ford is doing. Now, maybe he's doing a lot, and I'm just not hearing about it because I live on the West Coast. So if you've heard about it, if you know what Doug is doing to help secure the border, put it down in the comments so I can do some research on it. Let me know where I can go, because I do hear him complaining a lot about and saying what he will do in response, but I haven't heard about what he's doing to help secure the border, help the Canadian government secure the border, which is what Trump is asking us to do. So I totally agree with him. This is a bad idea. It will hurt Americans. And I get where he's coming from, that he's going down to the United States and he's talking to all these people. But what is he doing to help avoid the tariffs in the first place? Instead, besides complaining to all of the senators and the congressmen and the governors, which I absolutely agree that is a good idea to do. Maybe not complaining so much, but pointing out the flaws in putting tariffs on. But I do want to know, put down in the comments, what is he doing to help the Canadian government secure the border? Because I think that's something important to talk about. Danielle Smith is doing something. I believe Quebec is doing something. I'm sure other provinces are doing something. What is Big Dougie Ford doing about it?
One of the things you may do very quickly if there are tariffs is either put a tax on energy or actually cut off energy exports to the United States. Can you clarify where those plans are at? What kind of surtax are you talking about?
Well, we're going to have every option. We're going to use every tool in our toolbox. And I appreciate the question. But if they want to try to annihilate Ontario, I will do everything, including cut off their energy, with a smile on my face. And I'm encouraging every other province to do the same. Quebec, Manitoba, BC, we all have to act in unison. Out east, they rely on our energy. They need to feel the pain. They want to come at us hard, we're going to come back twice as hard.
So this is where my opinion and Big Dougie Ford's opinion kind of diverge. I really don't think that cutting off energy supply to the U.S. is a good idea. And here's why. Now, if you cut off energy to the U.S., and I believe it's hydroelectricity is their main export, what will happen? Well, there will be blackouts. There will be a crisis in the United States. And we might all think, hey, that's a good idea. It will put pressure on the United States to take these tariffs off. But will it? Now, I think that what could possibly happen is there could be deaths as a result of cutting off energy. We've become a weak people over the last 100 years or so. We rely on energy. We rely on electricity. We rely on natural gas and oil and all of these creature comforts. But it's not just creature comforts. We have become so dependent on them that cutting them off could actually result in deaths. And what I'm talking about here is certain times of the year, whether it's in the heat of summer where temperatures are up over 100 degrees, or whether it's in winter or even in the shoulder seasons where it's not quite warm enough not to use home heating. Could that result in deaths? Well, absolutely it could, especially in the elderly. But also it could result in traffic accidents if, lights go out, if traffic lights go out. That happens all the time. It happens all the time on the West Coast here during a big storm when the lights go out, and in the middle of the night, you're just driving down a street maybe you're not familiar with, and the next thing you know, you're going through an intersection that you didn't think was controlled by light, but lo and behold, it was, but the power's out. That could result in an accident. It could result that hospitals lose power. And yes, they have backup generators, but what if those generators aren't working, to capacity? So I think that threatening to cut off their energy might be going a little bit too far. What would happen if deaths result from Ontario or any part of Canada cutting off energy? It could escalate this beyond anybody's belief. Danielle Smith has already said that cutting off oil to the United States would be a national unity crisis, and I agree with her. It probably would. But what would cutting off electricity to the east coast of the United States be? Would it be such that it escalates to a national crisis, even a national security issue? Would it be a threat to the United States to the point where they feel that it is potentially an act of war? I don't know. I think that under another administration, probably not. But under the Trump administration, what would he do? I'm not sure. I don't mind Trump, although I don't really like him. I think that he was a good president. Personality-wise, I could do with somebody else there. But I do question whether or not he would escalate things, maybe beyond reason, if something like that happened. So I don't know. What do you think? Is cutting off energy maybe going a little bit too far? Maybe would it escalate things, maybe possibly to a point where we couldn't recover our relationship with the United States, or at least not for the next several years? And would it even escalate into something even more serious than simply tariffs? Let me know in the comments below what you think. And while you're at it, please like this video, share with your friends and on social media. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification so you never miss another video. Also, please join me on Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Pacific time for my live stream, both on YouTube and on Rumble, where you're invited to join in on the conversation. Finally, if you reside on Vancouver Island and you wish to get your Canadian firearms license, I teach the required courses. Please go to my website, link to which is in the description, to sign up for one of those courses. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.